see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try, victorize. If you want see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try.
So why we allow this administration to erode our democracy? This is a democratic society, and therefore every creed and race must find an equal place.
Yeah, victorize. If you want see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try, victorize. If you want see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try.
So I am calling on every youth, I am calling on every citizen. Let us unite and save Trinidad and Tobago. For far too long we have been exploited. For far too long we have been neglected. The time has come where we must stand united in order to save our country. Yes, my brothers and my sisters.
Yeah, victorize. If you want see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try, victorize. If you want see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try.
And let us fight to defend our democracy in this country. Let us stand together.
Yeah. The cry from the ghetto, and the way on them like they don't care about somebody now. Victorize. If you want see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try, victorize. If you want see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try.
So why we allow this administration to erode our democracy? This is a democratic society, and therefore every creed and race must find an equal place.
Yeah, victorize. If you want see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try, victorize. If you want see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try.
So I am calling on every youth, I am calling on every citizen. Let us unite and save Trinidad and Tobago. For far too long we have been exploited. For far too long we have been neglected. The time has come where we must stand united in order to save our country. Yes, my brothers and my sisters.
Yeah, victorize. If you want see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try, victorize. If you want see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try.
And let us fight to defend our democracy in this country. Let us stand together.
Yeah. The cry from the ghetto, and the way on them like they don't care about somebody now. Victorize. If you want see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try, victorize. If you want see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try.
So why we allow this administration to erode our democracy? This is a democratic society, and therefore every creed and race must find an equal place.
Yeah, victorize. If you want see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try, victorize. If you want to see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try.
So I am calling on every youth. I am calling on every citizen. Let us unite and save Trinidad and Tobago. For far too long we have been exploited. For far too long we have been neglected. The time has come where we must stand united in order to save our country. Yes, my brothers and my sisters.
Yeah, Victor vibes. If you want to see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try. Victor vibes. If you want to see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try.
And let us fight to defend our democracy in this country. Let us stand together.
Yeah. We cry from the ghetto. And the way on them like they don't care about somebody. Victor vibes. If you want to see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try. Victor vibes. If you want to see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try.
So why we allow this administration to erode our democracy? This is a democratic society, and therefore every creed and race must find an equal place.
Yeah, Victor vibes. If you want to see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try. Victor vibes. If you want to see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try.
So I am calling on every youth. I am calling on every citizen. Let us unite and save Trinidad and Tobago. For far too long we have been exploited. For far too long we have been neglected. The time has come where we must stand united in order to save our country. Yes, my brothers and my sisters.
Yeah, Victor vibes. If you want to see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try. Victor vibes. If you want to see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try.
And let us fight to defend our democracy in this country. Let us stand together.
Yeah. We cry from the ghetto. And the way on them like they don't care about somebody. Victor vibes. If you want to see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try. Victor vibes. If you want to see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try.
So why we allow this administration to erode our democracy? This is a democratic society, and therefore every creed and race must find an equal place.
Yeah, Victor vibes. If you want to see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try. Victor vibes. If you want to see a better life, yeah, share the light. When the youth them know we gotta try.
So I am calling on every youth. I am
$30 million for a taste of carnival. No man.
Man and the one we about Rowley, he let we know that the man is a big bully. But we never heeded what man and say. Now all of our human rights have been stripped away. He doing what he want with money from taxpayers. People can't feed their children in rural areas. I don't know how Rowley they sleep at night since he come in office like this country blind. I want a ball. Sing it out loud.
Blessing, good afternoon to each and everyone. Welcome to Facts, Not Fiction. Today being Sunday, of course, is good as any other Sunday. And remember, today is the day that we bring the facts to you. So I want to welcome you, first of all, locally, regionally, internationally. Welcome to Facts, Not Fiction. Always remember to subscribe. Number will be on the screen where you can get your copy of the Douglas report. This report, this newspaper, it's all about facts. That is what this is about. If you want to get fiction, you could certainly seek any one of the mainstream media. But if you want to get the facts as to what is taking place in this country, from every aspect, sports, politics, what have you, remember to subscribe, send your number to WhatsApp it to a number that Archie will put up there, and this report will come straight to you. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, of course, first of all, I want to salute the UNC women for their vigil yesterday afternoon at 5 at the heights of Aripo. You know, of course, I took a team and we journey in solidarity and also to show that support and our dissatisfaction from Library with the state of affairs in our country as it relates to national security. I think the women of the UNC women did a wonderful job, and of course, we want the families, not only of young Miss Kojo to know, but also the Barratts and all of those who have lost their life as a result of these heinous, brutal acts by these monsters, people who is not fit to be human being. We want to really stand with you in the time of need, and we know, of course, that it's a pain that we can only imagine, but it's a pain that you experience, a living nightmare. And today, ladies and gentlemen, when we look at all our security apparatus in this country, it seems as though that it will continue to fail us. It seems as though that we may very well be crying very often for the lives of our citizens, crying loud for our mothers, our young mothers, our teenagers, those who have disappeared without a trace, that even today some of the family cannot get closure as a result of the incompetent government and the governance that we now experience in our society by a bunch of individuals who seems to have no idea as to how to fix the problem. You see, I have been saying for years that the government believe to fix the crime situation, it is more guns and more ammunition. But more guns and more ammunition would not fix the problem. It will not fix the crime problem in Trinidad and Tobago. It takes policies, it takes careful thinking, whereby people could articulate the way in which to bring these policies, whereby we would be able to not only to deter, but help individuals to understand that living, that life is more important than crime. And I am saying, ladies and gentlemen, that because of the level of poverty in this country, what we will have happening going forward, as a result of the Rowley policies, we will have more crime on a daily basis because, ladies and gentlemen, while we understand, while we see this government, this prime minister, this attorney general, this national security minister, this entire government have no clue as to fix the problems in this country. This government had billions of dollars in access. They took from the heritage funds. They collect grants, foreign assistance, and yet they could not bring this pandemic under control. Number one in the world, idiot. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are at a place in our history where history would be recorded as one of the worst government to ever hold power in our beloved Twin Island. History would record it. We have a prime minister, ladies and gentlemen, who heads the National Security Council. The National Security Council is charged with the responsibility of monitoring matters relating to the defense and the national security of our country. They monitor, they bring policies, they hold discussion with all heads, all different heads under the umbrella of national security. They would have regular meetings. They will discuss. A matter of fact, the parliament also give them certain powers. And when they sit together, ladies and gentlemen, they will come up with ideas. They will also want to introduce policies. Some of the policies that they will take through the cabinet. And from there they will bring it to the parliament, whether in the form of a piece of legislation, and therefore they are the ones that have that strong responsibility from a holistic standpoint to ensure the security of our nation. The border security. Any form of whether it be domestic or foreign aggression. They also would consider policies to get the job done. They also monitor events that they believe may be a threat to national security. They also monitor information through the different apparatus. Sometimes when you have an event and you see these nice, pretty, tint-up black Prados packed up, all the glass wine up, and you cannot see the individuals inside.
don't believe they are there because that's your partner. Don't believe they are there because they consider your safety. Don't believe that they are there because they like you. They are there for a purpose. They record, they monitor, and those information will go back where they will analyze, where they will decide if your organization or you could be tagged as a threat to national security, or if you are a person that needs to be monitored on a daily basis, then all these discussions will take place. And of course, the Prime Minister will also be privy to those information. Many times I hear the Prime Minister speaks of he privy to information that the public would not be privy to. And this is why he boasts, because those informations will filter back so that he, as the head of the National Security Council, he who chairs the National Security Council, he will have first-hand knowledge and also have his national security minister, his attorney general, and other heads of national security, where they could sit collectively, put holistic plans in place, whether it means to combat that threat or whatever decision need to take place, they will put that in place. And they function from that standpoint. But let's move on. Within that national security team, that council, there is also the Attorney General. The Attorney General is also a part of that National Security Council. Ladies and gentlemen, the Attorney General, basically, according to our Constitution, give him a two-role portfolio. One is that he acts as a member of government, performing all the necessary duty as a member of government, but he is also the guardian of the public interest when he acts independently in a quasi-judicial capacity. So he have two roles that he plays while he is crowned as the Attorney General. Moving out from the Attorney General, we have the Minister of National Security. The Minister of National Security, ladies and gentlemen, while this ministry is one of the largest amongst the rest, and of course, most complex, the Minister of National Security, he is charged with the oversight and the primary responsibility for ensuring, and not only ensuring, but maintaining key key functions within that ministry. So of course he have the oversight. Look, he having an oversight there right now. It look like he having an overdream too. He have the oversight of securing our nation. He have the oversight of securing our people. He have the oversight of all national interests. He have the oversight of the disaster management responsibilities. He have the oversight who comes in and goes out of the country. In other words, he have the oversight even on immigrants. Even on immigrants, he have the oversight. That sleeper that you are seeing there, he have the responsibility. He have a ton load of responsibility in this society. These are three key individuals in national security. I want to deal with the Prime Minister first here this evening. This Prime Minister, I don't want to go there, no, but I go in. I didn't want to go there, but I go in. This Prime Minister is the biggest idiot we have in this country. This Prime Minister, I am saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, is a disgrace to that office. This Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, is a Prime Minister that should be kicked out, hung out of office. And I will tell you why. You have this Prime Minister as the head of the National Security Council, who also make decisions to govern this country, who make decisions and bring policies and none thereof to this country, and have us in a state where this country and the crime situation is totally out of control. This Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, mash up a whole police service commission. This Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, interface and interact, confusing the whole process, writing letters to an independent institution, asking that independent institution to do certain things that is contrary to the independency. This Prime Minister interferes with a president, compromising the president authority to protect our constitution and have our country in a constitutional crisis. This Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, is responsible for the death of our democracy in this country. This Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, have interfered and interfere in every independent institution in this country. And I'm saying that this Prime Minister is not fit to hold the office. This Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, I heard this Prime Minister speaking in some political meeting. And this Prime Minister defending the wrongdoing of this Attorney General. I want you to listen to what this disgraceful Prime Minister said in that meeting. Run it, Archie.
Today, the Guardian is going to be asking me for a comment, which I'll answer now. And they want a comment as to why Faris is still in the cabinet and why I have not asked him to resign because Kamala say he sold his car to Kewal Singh and they didn't transfer the car. That's what the Guardian interested in. Any damn foolishness that the UNC come up with, the Guardian interested in it. And
So ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. When you have a prime minister, I commented where he defending the attorney general wrongdoing, I commented that. But when you have a prime minister, a man who represents Trinidad and Tobago, a man who holds the office, one of the most powerful office in this land, a man who children ought to be looking up to for guidance, a man who children would expect the highest form of respect, a man who the international community will look up to, a man who was just the other day the CARICOM chairman, chairing the whole of CARICOM. And this disrespectful idiot, this disrespectful clown that we have today for a prime minister, and I want to tell you something, I have no respect, none whatsoever, for that individual. You know why? Old people always say, you want respect, show respect. And this man have no respect for the children in this country. 1 minute, you're on a press conference, COVID-19, and he tell them, don't JJ the thing. Don't JJ the thing. You sure he is? Don't JJ the thing. That thing. That thing. He said, oh, that the thing. Why he behave like that? Why he sung like that? Why he look like that? Why he no amount of honey goat weed could help him to recover from that? But nevertheless, that is what he behaved like. I cannot understand. Leave it there, Archie. Leave it right there. I cannot understand in this country how we as a people could even support the behavior of that gentleman who behaved like that. I have seen somebody show me the other day. Even one of my family away sending thumbs up for the conduct of that idiot when he used his phrase. And let me tell you something. It's only because blood thicker than water. It's only because blood thicker than water that I denounce you as a family. You know why? I'm going to tell you why today. I am an individual that shows and demonstrates respect to every quarter of this society. And if you, as an individual who have the same blood in your veins that I have, and you could support that kind of language by a prime minister, then something wrong with you, family. And I'm talking about my family, you know. I ain't talking about all your own. I'm talking about mine. Something wrong with you. On Victor Roberts' profile, nobody who used any foul language, even in support of me, I doesn't encourage that. I don't support that. If we want to build a society, we have to build a society with respect. And when you have a disrespectful prime minister sitting in the chair of that office with his mouth filled and spewing nothing but what does come out of the pig pen, hogwash, you ought to know that that man is not fit for office. And not only is that man not fit for office? But that man went on to defend the Faris Alwari Kewal Singh situation. You hear what I'm saying? He used an analogy by saying that he bought a car from some executive and it took him a year and more before he could get a transfer. Archie, you could pick it up from where we pause and just play it out. I want the people to hear for themselves.
The guardian going to be asking me for a comment, which I'll answer now. And they want a comment as to why Faris is still in the cabinet and why I have not asked him to resign, because Kamala say he sold his car to Kewal Singh and they didn't transfer the car. That's what the guardian interested in. Any damn foolishness that the UNC come up with, the guardian interested in it, and telling me that Faris should resign because he's under police investigation. But I could tell the guardian this evening, with respect to the transfer of a motor car, maybe I should resign too. Because I bought a car from an executive a few years ago, kept it for a while, couldn't get the car transferred because the records in licensing office was a mess. The executive died while I'm trying to transfer the car. Tried to sell the car to another executive. Took me a year and a half. And eventually the licensing office, after they digging chagaramas for months, had to concede that they couldn't find the record. And the man's wife had to go and tell that, yes, my husband sold his car to this gentleman. That's how I was able to get the car transferred. Probably on honor. But you come to tell me that Kamala write the police and tell the police Faris, I don't know what she have with Faris, you know. Maybe Faris knows. The last time she go on platform and say the only pipe she knows.
Leave that thing right there. Ladies and gentlemen, all you hear this donkey as a prime minister, all you hear this donkey that we have in this country as a prime minister, he come to tell us that he bought some vehicle, and when he bought that vehicle, he went to license office, and when he reached license office was in a mess, and the man come and dead, and after the man dead, it took him a year and something to get the vehicle transfer. Only listen this donkey as a prime minister. Only listen what this man defending. If you watch the man disposition, every time you see he talking and he fidgeting, and he all you don't know what is happening already. But that's not the point, you know. That is not the point. Under the motor vehicle, under the ordinances of the motor vehicle, it tells us the Road Traffic Act, it tells us in 4850 that we have 7 days to transfer that vehicle after we bought a vehicle from an individual. This vehicle in question, ladies and gentlemen, is a tax-free vehicle. I don't want to get too much in it because there's an investigation going on. But when you realize that the documentation that came out of this car business with Faris, it have absolutely nothing to do with license officer MS. Absolutely nothing. And as that story develop more, we're going to talk about that. But I want to tell you something about this prime minister. You see, this prime minister have to defend Faris. He have to defend Faris. I want to tell you something about this government. Is everybody holding secret for everybody? Everybody know everybody nasty behavior. All of them know all of them corruption that is going on in government. All of them know who eating big and who eating small. The prime minister, he has some questions to answer. He had to tell the country why he recused himself on so many occasions. He had to tell the country what happening with those units in Tobago. He has some questions to answer in terms of his declaration. He has some questions to answer. But the point I'm making is this. When you hear a prime minister of a country could try to justify wrongdoing, and hear him, you remember the instant when he said that he drank a beer when he had the press conference? Or you remember how he laughed it out? Well, I should be in prison. I drink a beer. I had a cup of beer or one beer, two beer, whatever. Or you remember? So he come to justify it now, saying, well, maybe he should be in prison because he tried to say the same thing Faris did, he do. So that is how the thing appears to be. So he is giving us the idea that he is above the law. And if it is okay for him to do it, then it's also okay for his cabinet colleagues to do it. So he used himself. He used himself as that example. So hear him. He said, maybe I should be in jail too. Because I bought a car and it took me a year and more to have it transferred. So he's saying to us that he is the prime minister. And if it is okay for him, then it have to be okay for his colleagues. But you know the sad part about that? It is not okay for you and me. It is not okay for you and me. Trinidad and Tobago, this is the time that we must demand a fresh election. We cannot have a prime minister who breaks the law and then turn around and boast of himself breaking the law. That is what this prime minister does. So he broke the health ordinances and he come to you, whether 2 or 3 or 4 people saw him having those beers, and he bring it to your attention as a joke. You know, we could get carried away, because I myself recently get carried away and I had a cup of beers. So he put it to you, he placed it in your lap, creating in your mind that weak moment where you can get carried away and go to the public and have a beer. But I want to say to you, Trinidad and Tobago, while he boasts of having those beers and was exempted from persecution, or persecution, a matter of fact, the key factor remains that you go out there and have a beer and see what is the consequence. I have seen people on the papers having to pay heavy fine for drinking alcohol in public. But the prime minister is exempted. The prime minister is exempted from any form of criminal investigation. The prime minister could breach the constitution as he want, and the law association and the judiciary, who is charged with the responsibility to defend and to protect our constitution, they have nothing to say. The police commissioner would not, let me take back that because he no commissioner. The PNM acting commissioner would not launch any criminal investigation into the prime minister. You know why? Because they are partners. Partners. We have an acting commissioner of police. He like a comb that I used to comb my hair with. Before I get like this. Before it get like this, only remember them bronco. Actually remember them bronco. When you pull it in your ear so, and it meet or not, you hear pling. The comb teeth gone. That is the kind of acting PNM commissioner we have. No teeth. No teeth. Not even a plate. It's only gum. Gum, gum, gum. And I mean no offense to those who you know what I mean. But it's only gum he have. No investigation. The Integrity Commission are coming by all soon, you know. I point all your notice. The Integrity Commission, Victor Roberts coming by all soon. Because it seems as though all here and all dumb. We ain't hearing nothing. No press release. The Integrity Commission is conducting investigations at this time into allegation or whatever, however you want to disguise it and synchronize it. Me have no problem with that. But we ain't hearing nothing happening. All this bunch of bacchanal. Police Service Commission. Prime Minister interfere. Mash it up. President get involved. Send list, pull it back. Nothing. We ain't hearing nothing. Everything is honky-dory in Trinidad. That is what we believe things is. Everything nice. But I will show all you. I'm coming by all soon, you know. I'm coming by all soon. If all you believe that this thing is a game in this country, that all you who is charged with responsibility to do the honorable thing, to do the just thing, to ensure justice served across the board, if all you believe that it's only the poor and the oppressed that justice could come towards in a negative way, I am saying that justice must be served from the Prime Minister to the President to the man on the ground. That is what it must be in this country. That is what it have to be. So we coming back. We come back. So we have this Prime Minister, head of National Security Council. We have the Attorney General. Let me talk about he now. So apart from the Prime Minister trying to defend, wait. I remember that it had a big oil scandal. With a man who the Prime Minister says is a good friend and financier of the PNM. And I remember that the Prime Minister was happy to speak to the Guardian. He don't want to talk to the Guardian now. Because he say Kamla is who said that. But when he say it's Kamla who busts the mark with the oil scandal with A&V, he was happy to talk. All you remember that? All you remember that? The man was, a matter of fact, the man was so happy to speak that he make a phone call from away. And when the same Guardian asked him that we understand that you call Bash and Deruki Singh, he was happy to make a comment. He said, yes, that is my friend. And if I hear something about my friend of this nature, and I call my friend to find out from a friend what's going on, then what kind of friend am I? So he was happy to make a comment there. But here the point I'm getting at. Was it that the Prime Minister was sending a message to the investigators that this man is his personal friend? Could it be that the Prime Minister was sending a message to to the investigators that this man is not only my personal friend, but he's a financier to the party that I control. So could it be the Prime Minister was saying, in other words, just back off from a partner? Is it? So is it now that the Prime Minister is sending a message to the investigators in the TTPS that I have done it and nothing wrong if it happens with my Attorney General? Is it a message that the Prime Minister sending to the police to dress back off of my Attorney General? I asking a question. You see, let me tell you something with this Prime Minister. This Prime Minister is, that man named too honorable for he. So I'll just put it so. This Prime Minister is a movie star. This Prime Minister cutting movie all the time. And every time he get corner, he jump out with a distraction. And sometimes he use words to create the distraction. He say things to create the distraction. And he allow you, the media, and other individuals to pay attention to the distraction more than I will put it this way, more than the allegation. I got to say more than the crime that is being committed, but that is too much of a strong word under an investigation. So I will use the word investigation. So he causes you to be distracted. He distracts your mind. He distracts your eyes. He distracts your ear. And he allow you, he send you in a direction where you pay more attention to the distraction more than the actual allegation. And that is a clever way that this Prime Minister, every time this Prime Minister, cabinet colleagues, anytime they are cornered, anytime he himself, anytime he is cornered, what he do, he creates that distraction, send your mind on that distraction while he have time to either clean up the allegation or he continues to send you down that road. And then these allegations slip under the carpet nice and easy. Well, Keith Rowley, I want to tell you something, sir. We on the UNC, all of us on the UNC, it are no allegations slipping. We will expose everything. You can make yourself, actually, where the thing? Put back up the thing there for me. You can make yourself, that thing will lying down. Actually, go put it up just now. You can make yourself that if you want. But we on this side, we are going to look after the interests of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We on this side, yeah, you could look like that. You could behave like that. And a matter of fact, you could even smell like that. But we on this side, we will bring the facts. Every allegation of corruption or mismanagement or mishandling or misappropriation, as soon as it raises its ugly head, we will bring it in the public domain. We will expose you. We ain't playing. Time for games over. We will expose you. So this Faris Alwari, Let me deal with you now. Who are to answer to those investigators in relation to this car business? This same Faris Alwari, you see, the Prime Minister had to cover this Attorney General after paying a Queen's Counsel $10+ million. Yes. Yes. After paying a Queen Counsel $10+ million, and after signing a secret document of exemption from any form of prosecution, whether the Queen Counsel lie again, lie before, lie during, or lie after, have no matter to answer. And Keith Rowley, the Prime Minister, stood up and spoke some kind of idiotic talk about white-collar crime, and gone back down the road to talk about Galen Benson and Abdul Malik, something that had absolutely nothing to do with what this Prime Minister condoned with his Attorney General. A matter of fact, that even brings me to the question, and I'm waiting and watching to see if down the road this same document surface anywhere. Because you see, I want to tell you something. The Director of Public Prosecution Office, the DPP, they are the ones that is charged with the responsibility, according to the amendment of that piece of legislation, to deal with any bargaining process, not the Attorney General. Not the Attorney General. And again, the Prime Minister stood up and tries to defend the Attorney General with that same document, using an example. But you see, poor thing, the fella, according to Anil Roberts, is a man of stones. He don't know nothing about law. He know about stones. And a poor fella, the Attorney General that he appoint, according to my friend, he can't even win a case. The man, according to my sources, is so dunce head. Yes, I calling him dunce head because I had the authority to call him dunce head. He's so dunce that he feel that he could do the DPP work. Yes, work. He feel he could do the DPP work. But I want to tell you something. When you have an Attorney General, and I asked a question, I asked a question a couple months ago. I asked a question, could it be that the Attorney General willfully losing these cases so that he partner them could get paid? I don't know. I am asking, could that be a possibility? Could it? You see, I know how the thing does go, If I and you and he and she and all our we is attorney, and I had the authority up here to give brief, you see, I could fix the thing where I call my girlfriend, I call my boyfriend, I call my man friend, and I give them brief. And when I give them brief, I know is the man who representing the state, so I know could do what I had to do to ensure that brief up. And then when brief up, I could get brief back. You know it's brief back? Well, if all they know me, telling all you. But that is how I am saying, I am wondering if that's a possibility. Because you see, let me tell you something. I remember the Attorney General didn't want to pay Queen's Counsel. It went to court. And when the Attorney General put it in court, the Attorney General went back and withdrew it. He went back and withdrew it. And after he withdrew it, boom, we hear 10 million pay. Next thing we hear, Queen's Counsel witness. Next thing we hear, 2 UNC senators lock up. That is how the game went. It in the public domain. That is how the game went. And then next thing we hear, some document signed, exempting, I could lie, I could cheat, I could thief, I could say anything. I have nothing to answer. You know what they call that? They call that shotgun justice. Shotgun justice in Trinidad. That is how the game go. So the Attorney General office is also contaminated. So we have the national security contaminated. We have the Attorney General office contaminated. Let we go now. Let us go now to the Minister of National Security. We have a Minister of National Security. Or as my leader also always put it, national insecurity. And that is the biggest dum-dum. It's a dummy one, it's a dummy two, and it's a dum-dum. So it's dumb, dumber, and dum-dum. And let me tell you something. When we look at the affairs of national security, I want to go by Jacob yet because I come in, Jacob tell me about 25 death for January is the lowest in 15 years. And then he come to tell me about some set of hitman hired for work. Some hitman hired, you are hitman. Boy, I come into hear this now. So we are dumb. Well, I know what I go call Jacob now. I know what I call him. And then say Jacob does walk and shake up. But let me tell you something. I had to look for a name for you. I have it yet. I have it yet. But under national security, ladies and gentlemen, you see why this crime situation out of control? You see, I hear the Prime Minister speaking about corruption. And I say, well, boy, this man had to be a crazy man. You can't be so bold-faced. You can't be so brass-faced. You can't be so rusty-faced to come out and talk about all this set of corruption and whistleblower go help and boy, let me tell you something. You see this next idiot here, this one who like to put his tongue between his teeth and talk, watch. Watch him. Where his tongue is now. And if I watch clear, all watch with me, watch close. Watch close and see if all they see some Gigi Fly, Zantin. All watch close to him out. Watch close. You know why them Gigi Fly Zantin? Because you know what has come out of that mouth? I go and tell you what has come out of that mouth. Race. Race does come out of that mouth. That's why them Gigi Fly. And if I look good, I think I seen 2 Campati fly too. I know them hunters know it's Campati fly. I seen 2 Campati fly there. If you know it's Campati fly, ask them all hunters and them and they go tell you what's that. They'll tell you what Campati fly does go wrong. But watch him. Every time this national security minister talk, racial UNC, racial this, they using we people and them people that. Let me tell you something. When we have a breakdown in the National Security Council, we have a breakdown with the Attorney General Office, and we have a breakdown in national security, that spells disaster. That spells a disaster. And then we have this, advising that. That over there is Jacob. We have this advising that. And we have that. Who I think I hear, I can't remember what number Marsha say he was on the merit list. But we have this advising that, who was somewhere quito on our merit list. Who said that he didn't want the job. Who said that he didn't apply for the job but yet still had the job. And who coming to tell us now that this month murder rate, last month, sorry, was the best in 15 years. We had about 25 murders accounted for January 2022. And I anticipating that it's more. Because there's person that is missing that you cannot account for. And we know, of course, they will tell you, well, they're just missing person until what time. But we know it may very well be more than 25. But we have a commissioner that come out and said to us that despite 25 families may be grieving, it is still the best that we had in 15 years. Any first world country, a commissioner of police come out and make that idiotic statement, they will sack him, fire him, kick him out, throw him out immediately, demote him, tear off his stripe, throw his hat on the ground, pelt his badge somewhere in a drain immediately. Added to that, we are now learning that there is also hitmen for hire. So not only was 25 murder the best month, but we have hitmen for hire. Commissioner of Police, I want to ask you something. And I find you looking like you resemble Heinz that kind of way too. I want to ask you something, Mr. Jacob. You think what you said in relation to that hitman thing, you feel that make any sense? You ain't feel you put your tie, your badge, your gun, your everything in your mouth? You ain't feel you put your gun in your mouth? I feel you put your gun in your mouth. That is what I feel you do. You is the acting commissioner of police, sir. Your job is to tell us that your intelligence agency gathered information of 5 or 6 hitmen for hire. You have since arrested them with abstracts of phone conversation, a certain amount of money, and they will be placed before the court to answer the charge. That is what a sensible acting commissioner of police would have done. But you see, when that advising you, then you will become as that, and that would become as you. So here the next thing I'm watching. I'm going to watch to see how much East Indian going to be promoted. I'm going and watch that. I want to see that, because if you're getting advice, I want to see coming up round the bend how much Indian police going and get promotion. I'm watching. Because you see, if I taking advice in a certain way, my actions will be a certain way. That is why you will be, you know. That is how it will be. So I am looking on. But I want to come back because my time is running like a bullet. So actually take off them 2 idiots off the screen. And I want to come back to Mr. Keith Rowley. Keith Rowley. Actually have a clip there with Keith, where he boasting about his handful of sheep. Run that clip there for the people at Trinidad and Tobago to see.
And they're so into stupidness I'm mining a handful of goats, sheep in Tobago, that on UNC platform. All I could tell her, just keep your friends away from there.
What he say? He say he mining a handful of sheep and goat in Tobago. And that on the UNC platform. So he telling my leader to tell she friends to keep away from it. Well, Rowley, I have some questions to ask you today, sir. I have some questions to ask. I want to ask you, Mr. Prime Minister, within the 4th Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago, which was between 1991 and 1994, I want to ask you, Mr. Prime Minister, if you could ask one of your partner or your friend or some of them who does go and investigate for free. I want you, Mr. Prime Minister, to see if you could ask ex-Justice Stanley John to do an investigation. He must go back between 1991 and 1994 when the government under Patrick Manning, the Ministry of Agriculture, had imported some sheep and goat in this country that disappear without a trace. I want you, Mr. Prime Minister, if you could ask ex-Justice Stanley John to go back and do an investigation and see if he could come up with what happened to those goats and sheep where the Ministry of Agriculture brought in to this country under Patrick Manning that vanished in thin air. That is my request to you. I am asking you, Mr. Prime Minister, if you could do Victor Roberts that favor. You see, when all you like investigation, all you mustn't investigate who all you want to get rid of. All you must investigate everything that warrants an investigation. And I believe that the disappearance between 91 and 94 of those animals that the Ministry of Agriculture brought in to this country, I think that warrants an investigation. You see, animals could go in pot. Animals could go in cage. But animals is not Houdini. Animals have no wang to wave and disappear. So I would like to know if those animals that the Ministry of Agriculture brought in back then, I would like to know if those animals, if they are in St. Lucia, if they are in St. Vincent, if they are in Grenada, or if they are in Venezuela. Them sheep and goat that disappear between 91 and 94, all now they may be talking Spanish. Oh no, they may be taking Spanish, talking Spanish. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something, you know. They want to investigate UNC. I want to investigate PNM. Them want to investigate UNC. And if UNC warrants investigation, by all means investigate. But what happened to the numerous amounts of allegation under the PNM? What happened? No investigation. We control we control the judiciary. We control the office of acting police commissioner. We control the office of the president. I am saying, well, it's only a matter of time before all they try to push all their hand in the office of the DPP. I had to say that. Oh, I wonder if all the choking all their hand already. I don't know. I could only wonder, you know. Because the PNM contaminate every independent institution. I think that the only independent situation that is existing without, and I want to talk too hard. I want to talk too hard. Without interference is the DPP office. I personally want to say that. I'm saying it or I want to say it. I personally want to say it. Because this Rowley administration mash up every aspect of independency in this country. Mash up everything. And Trinidadians, as we wind up, I want to tell you Trinidadians is only to blame. Don't even watch Tobago, you know. Don't play fast and watch Tobago. Don't even watch Tobago. It's all you Trinidadians that have we in this mess. You know why? I don't know how God make that mistake. I don't know how the Creator make that mistake. This is the first country that has so much people that born with no legs. They can't stand up at all. All they can do is talk. One set of talk. Mr. Cascade, nice to meet you yesterday. Nice to meet you yesterday in the vigil. Nice to meet you and my boy. I'm coming by all soon. Few men in this country will stand up. Few men. It seems as though that this country reached a stage that these men and them, the hand can't stand up, the foot can't stand up. Let me stop there. Let me stop right there. Something wrong with all your boy. Something wrong with all your men. I see men pushing women in front. I see women taking the reins like, hey, here what happening, boy? We man can't do it and we have to do it. I see women going out there looking for food to put on the table, while the man by the block looking to drink a puncheon or smoke a weed. I see women making every effort to sustain their homes, while men falling down by the side of the road. What is wrong with these men in this country? What is going on with you, man? All you watch now, listen now. So all they ain't preparing nothing for the future generation. What all they bring them train in this world to do, boy? What all they bring them train in this world to do to see more trouble than all they seeing? Oh gosh, well if all they stand up for themselves, all they stand up for themselves now, stand up for the children now, stand up for the future generation now. Let we do something to help them now. Let we stand up and get rid of this government now. Let we come out and shut down the country now. Let we shut down with community now. Let we shut down with village now. Let we shut down with constituency now. Let we do it now. Let me do it. What all you want to see again? What all you want this government to do again to all you? This government interfered with every part of your body. And all you enjoying that? All you enjoying that? A date coming. All you're asking for a date? A date coming. The date to shut down coming. All you're asking for it, you know. Remember, is all you're asking for it. The date coming. The date coming. I want all you to remember that tonight. All I want only to remember, if only remember nothing else that was said here tonight, remember a date coming. I go on.
Man in the one we about rowdy, he let we know that the man is a big bully. But we never heeded what man and say. Now all of our human rights have been stripped away. He doing what he want with money from taxpayers. People can't feed their children in rural areas. I don't know how rowdy they sleep at night since he come in office like this country blind. I want a ball. Sing it out loud. Sante Mami.
Monday night, Debe South by-election is on the ballot and the UNC is online and on the case. The best political team led by political leader KPB and chaired by Senator Anil Roberts will analyze the count to the final vote. Monday night Debe South by-election from the constituency and live online from 7 p.m. We are the United National Congress.